Good morning. Good morning. So I'm Santi Pinkerton, and today with me I have three great ladies from the Elkhorn Unified School District. They all work in different capacities, but all are here to support our students. So with us today we have a vice principal, Jennifer Keyport. She's a vice principal at Laguna Creek High School. Say hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
We also have our district head counselor, Miss Nicole Brown. She's here with us as well. Hello. And we also have with us our mental health therapist, our district mental health therapist, Miss Katie Thompson. Katie Thomas. Apologize. All right. Well, wonderful to have you all here today. We're going to kind of talk to you about questions that people might have related to seniors. And to our students who are coming upon graduation. I'm sure many of them are anxious, they're excited, they're, got a lot of stuff going on, especially with all of this COVID-19 and the school closures, etc. And just yesterday, the superintendent put out the letter about the graduation plan, and I think a lot of people are excited now that, their whole K through 12 adventure is hitting a milestone. Some people say it's a completion, some people say it's a new beginning. But we want to make sure that our students have the supports that they need. This is still a crisis situation that we're in, that we really is beyond our control. And it would be great to know what supports are there for students should they need them, and even if they have friends who they think should reach out, what can we offer them? So Jennifer, we're going to start with you this morning. Let's just get into it with what supports are available for seniors who are struggling at this time.
Well, one of the things that we started off with right away is we have a mental health teacher, and that's not her, it's a restorative practices teacher, and she was already working with kids who were struggling. And so what we wanted to do right away is have her check and connect with those students, knowing that they went into this struggling with some issues. And so we did that to continue the support. So she continues to reach out and call them and check on their well-being and support them. As students possibly begin to struggle, if it's academic, we ask them to immediately reach out to their teachers so that their teachers can respond quickly. And their teachers have made themselves available through their office hours, through virtual video meetings, through email and phone calls, and so to really just connect with your teachers. If it's other issues, if it's transcripts or after-school planning or work permits or whatever it might be, social emotional support, counseling, we encourage them to reach out to their counselors. And I know here our counselors have set up Google Classrooms and send out remind apps and made themselves available to kids. So we really encourage students to reach out. And if they're struggling and don't know who to connect with, call our front office and we will connect you with the right supports. But we want them to know that we're here for them.
Okay, so it sounds like making those connections is really key for students who are feeling anxious, students who are just struggling, really to reach out and make those connections. And it sounds like site leaders are also leading that to reach out and not wait for somebody who might be struggling or they haven't reached out to them, that site leaders are actually going out proactively to reach out to students.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what kind of feedback have you received so far from seniors and their families?
Well, as I'm a mother of a senior myself, of an Elk Grove student, and so I feel very in touch with families out there, and then in my capacity as the vice principal. And what I see pretty universally is support and understanding. I think that everybody knows this is not something that we controlled and that this is something that happened to us. We do see confusion and disappointment and sadness, which reflects what we all feel. But I think that our families know that we're doing the very best that we can to support them, and the feedback has been by and large very positive, very supportive. And then for the kids that are struggling, and there are many, we really try to keep our message positive.
Okay, excellent. So before we get to our last question in terms of, what you want our families, our seniors, and our families of seniors who are watching this, before we get to what you want them to know, what's important for them to know, One question you raised or that I'm curious about is how different is the situation now from a regular year where we wouldn't have something like COVID-19?
Very different. And I think that they all know it. And one of the things that we have to do is stay connected. And being connected is really about having a caring relationship. And we're relying upon the caring relationships that teachers or counselors or admin had with students prior to this happening. As soon as it started, we didn't have answers. Nobody had answers. So all we could do is be sure that we were reaching out to our seniors, our families, all of our families, and making sure that they knew that we cared about them in every way that we could. Social media posts, videos that we were making, email messages, newsletters, phone calls, whatever it was, know that we care. We really try to keep our teachers well informed and answer their site-specific questions and clarify the information coming out from the district so that when students talk to them, the teachers are confident that they're giving right information and right supports. And now we really try to connect by making sure that our communication is frequent, that it's accurate, that we're disseminating right news, that we're offering resources, that we are telling people how to get help and in what ways to get it in a variety of ways, and that we're really trying to shine a light on any moments of celebration that we can, to just keep in mind all of the things that are going on right now that are still positive.
Okay, excellent. So sounds like what parents and families and seniors need to know is connection is key.
Yes.
Building those relationships is something that's very important. And to really stretch and look for the positive things that are happening out there. Excellent. Awesome. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of great resources at the school sites that students can tap into. So with that, let's switch over a little bit and let's talk with Nicole about what are a few coping strategies to keep in mind for students and families during the school closures.
Well, a few coping strategies. One in particular is take a look around you and just say, this is really not normal. And like we've been saying this morning, acknowledge that this too will pass. And as much as you can, look at it as an adventure and an opportunity to learn new things and to take new approaches. Because a lot of the things that we learn during this time, we may be able to take into the future with us for next year, later this year. Elk Grove Unified School District has a wonderful family resource page, so I encourage everyone to take a peek or click at that. There's lots of resources on there for healthy habits, mindfulness, social emotional learning, coping skills, just a lot of different activities or videos, poems, poetry, sometimes music. So use those resources that are right there, linked at your computer. Also, as we just finished saying, connect with others. Go ahead and I know parents are often, we're used to saying, get off the social media, but now we're saying, use it as a means to connect and stay connected. Reach out to family that you haven't talked to for a while. Students, you could interview elders. This is your opportunity to talk to them on Zoom or phone or email and just interview them about their life experiences. Remember, as we're here and we're working with school closures and in the learning setting and at home blended together, take breaks. Take breaks and remember to breathe. Know that maybe you need to go on a walk, even if it's just in the backyard. But take those breaks, keep those mindful habits going, and just recognize your emotions. Instead of stuffing or trying to say, okay, this isn't happening, go ahead and say, yeah, this is hard. And, and acknowledge that and talk to other people about that. And that's a really good way to make sure you don't get weighted down. And also, remember to watch the news with moderation. You don't want to overindulge in all of that stuff. There's a lot of people that are able to come back and bounce back. And so just watch your media intake, but take those breaks free.
I like what you said about that, acknowledging when something is difficult and looking for the resources and for people you can reach out to help you through that. It kind of goes along also with what Jennifer was saying is, this is not normal, and these are difficult times, and there are lots of resources, and it's okay if you need to reach out. Please do so. Connect. Find those relationships. Build those, because for everybody is having a difficult time with this. And by using those resources that we have, we can move forward. So that's awesome. Very great coping strategies. I think that everybody could use, not just seniors, but even their families and workers.
Yes.
So academically now, for a lot of our seniors, this is a critical time in their lives. They're finishing up their K through 12, their whole learning experience. They're going to be moving on into another adventure. And so what academic resources are available to students who are just having a hard time maybe adjusting to learning at a distance?
Yeah, those academic resources, a lot of times, because everything is online, it starts with saying, what can I do to motivate myself, right? Because maybe if you're having a hard time, part of it might be motivation. It's like, this is new. I don't know where to start. I know I've had moments like that. So a lot of times it's about having a growth mindset. So when we're saying what are academic resources, it's right there with you. Everything you need to know, everything you need, you have right now, so that you can learn the rest of what you need to know. And learning happens over a lifetime. So I want you to think of the acronym GROW, G-R-O-W. So have a growth mindset, because right there when you sit down, you're like, okay, I'm going to learn something new. And you want to set up routines. That is an academic resource. Your teachers have worked really hard to set you up with schedules. Your counselors have worked hard to set you up with schedules and have routines. There's a reason why we like routines in school. So we encourage you to set that up at home as well. That is an academic resource to you to set up a routine. And then the O in the GROW is oxygenate. Make sure you're breathing. Again, stay hydrated, exercise. Make sure you're getting that nutrition, because you got to feed that mind, you got to feed that brain. You're running into pain, you're stressed out at the same time. So part of your academic resource is right there on top of your shoulders, and you want to make sure you're staying hydrated, you're breathing. And then that W in GROW is being willing to work for fun. So that's that incentive again. Academics sometimes can be tough. Oftentimes they can be easy, or they can be tough at the same time. So take small chunks at a time, right? Small little bites, and say, you know what? If I get this English assignment done, then I go get Connection with Susie or Jamal. Or if I get this next piece done, I get to go walk around the block, or I get to go walk my dog. Right. So you want to make sure you're having that growth mindset. You're going to grow. You're going to set routines. You're going to keep yourself oxygenated and being willing to work for fun, provide yourself incentives. And then if you're having, if you do happen to have, which if you're watching this, you have internet connection. So there's Quizlet, Quizlet. That's the app or website. There's connectionsacademy.com. There's Khan Academy. And a few more are coolmath.com, Reading Egg, Brain Pop. And you've probably heard of these last two, ABC Mouse and PBIS Kids. I think I have that right. And the other thing is all of our schools, I think we have 76, is that right, Zombie?
At 67, yeah.
67, we have 67 schools. And those school parking lots have Wi-Fi connections. So in an emergency situation, if you have to, you do have access to the internet. Just continue practicing social distancing. So you're staying in your car, but you can actually get some work done. Go for a walk with the dog. I know I walked my dog this morning. So if you're having a hard time staying connected to the internet, there are things out there that can.
Right. So lots of resources when it comes to the academic side that we just need to tap into. And I like that GROW. So growth mindset. The R, so G was for growth mindset. The R was for routine, and the O, oxygenate, and the W is
willing to work for fun. Willing to work for fun.
That's awesome. Very good. Okay. So what do you think, now in that, I think this kind of leads towards the next question of what can seniors do now to prepare for the college and career or job setting this fall? We don't know what is really ahead of us this fall. We might still be in a social distance mode. A lot of schools, meaning universities and colleges, are looking at online learning. So what do you think students can take now, or what they're doing now as a form of preparation to look ahead and where they're going to be going both either for college or for a career?
Yes, I know this is a tough year for seniors, and we will get through this, and we will be right there to help you and make this super special. You are the most special class right now. Seniors, you are super seniors because you're super and you're having a tough year, but your year will never, your year will always be remembered. And so, similar to some of the things that I said before about academic resources, you want to have structure during this time. So you want to set yourself on a college resource schedule where you're checking the colleges that you either have been accepted to or you're waiting to hear back from. And just check their websites frequently, and just stay connected, because a lot of times college, they're way more online than we have been. So this is a practice run for seniors, because when you get to college a lot of times they have a lot more online classes than you would imagine, and now everything is online. So you're actually getting a very a preview of practice. Some of the things that you can make sure you remember as you're getting ready for the fall is you're going to need to be flexible. You're going to need to be expecting unexpected, meaning some things may change, some things may stay the same, but again, it's an adventure. And when you're looking for what do I do, is COVID, is this a learning opportunity? I would say look at COVID closures as a learning opportunity. There's 5 parts to a college application. So on top of those 5 parts, which are your high school transcript, your standardized test, your high school activities, letters of recommendation, and essays, those are the 5 parts. A lot of times when there's a lot of students that have excellent grades, excellent transcripts, high test scores, there's some work that can be done on your high school activity list. So I would start finding things that you can do online with social distancing, of course, that can make you stand out as you're getting ready for college. You can grow your skill set. So find things that you maybe ordinarily you wouldn't be doing, and grow your skills in that area. We also want you to check frequently with californiacolleges.edu. That's our district. We have a partnership with californiacolleges.edu, and they have constant updates on all of the colleges nationwide, anywhere from a 2-year college all the way to a college that has a doctoral program. And they have COVID resources for college students, what to do while you're waiting. How do you maximize that time? So you want to make mental health a priority, talk to your friends often, and set good boundaries for sleep and reflection, all to get ready for your fall college year. Stick with flexibility and be willing to maybe pivot. And also remember the colleges are working with you and not against you. They're working with you. They want you to come to their school. So remember to think outside the box, find things interesting to focus on, and grow your high school activities list. Even if it's online, that's good. Everybody's in this together.
Excellent. Thank you, Nicole. And just on that last point, Jennifer, Nicole was talking about their high school list, the activities they do in high school. What are some common things that students just don't think about that should be on that list? I mean, like I can think of, maybe not everybody puts the fact that they were a teacher's assistant on that high school list, yet those are skills that you learn on, some management in the classroom, helping, giving assistance or whatnot. What do you think might be some common things that students just might forget about that is actually pretty good to have on a list?
Well, one of the things that I think is so hard for students, and as a parent of 2 high school students, I know is they do so many things that they forget to track. And Nicole referenced CCGI, and that's a tool that we're continuing to want students to use more, to remember that, I work at, a church and I watch the daycare. Well, that's a community service, in service of others. So anything that a student does that's in service of others, anything that they're doing outside of the classroom that they don't have to do, but they're doing because it betters others, or they're doing because they're following a passion. I think that those are the types of things that students may not even realize are the type of things that round them out and make them interesting and entice colleges to say, that's somebody who brings something unique to our campus. So I just kind of try to think about the things that are either giving to others or are pursuing a passion. And they should share those things and track those things.
Okay, excellent.
It's a really good time to learn and research what college success skills are.
Yeah.
What are those skills? Research those online. Research what are job success skills. This is a great time. You can apply for summer programs online. See what's out there. Check on your neighbors and at a distance, of course. But again, just as we're talking about growing that high school, recognizing what you may have forgotten, you have lots of time to think about it. you've done and add that to your list in addition to looking and seeing what college success and workplace success skills.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, I think everything everybody said so far, I think has been just awesome and great ideas and supports for our students, and also gives families ideas that they can help their students with as well. So let's switch a little bit now and let's talk with Katie, Miss Katie Thomas, regarding mental health therapy. She's our mental health therapist, and how can, well, my senior's graduated, but she's here working at home online, going through, all of her college courses. How can I support my senior, or if I have a senior, with their difficult emotions, kind of, that stress or grief, because grief could be right now a sense of a loss of a family member due to COVID-19. Grief can also come in the form of having to say goodbye to friends that they've known forever. So what kinds of supports can we do to provide for our seniors when they have those difficult, icky, hard to deal with kinds of emotions?
Absolutely. I think the way you kind of outlined some different experiences of grief that our seniors and all of our students honestly might be having. Grief can also come in the form of a loss of what they have been expecting. So our seniors have for years been anticipating a typical graduation, typical prom, typical senior rites of passage, and they are now losing that. And so there may be some grief that comes along with that loss as well. And Jennifer and Nicole have done such a nice job of setting me up for this answer, and they really embody what I like to tell people all the time, which is that you don't have to be a therapist to be therapeutic, right? So really acknowledging that this is difficult is just so important. We do say this too shall pass, and I like to tell people it's not that we'll get over it, but that we'll get through it, right? So we want to sit with that grief, that loss, and really see it in our students and not try to help them just automatically go back to being happy or seeing the silver linings, but trying to come from their perspective. For some of our seniors, this is the first major loss that they'll experience, and maybe the hardest thing that they've had to go through. And so even though as adults we have that perspective where we know life has its ups and downs, not all of our seniors have that perspective yet. And it's not up to us to give that perspective. It's just up to us to see where they are right now and just really acknowledge any emotion that they're experiencing, which could be sadness, it could be anger, it could be frustration, all of the things that come along with that grief. And just helping the student to express that and then take the time to cope with it, right? But really just as they did in the movie Inside Out, I think it was called, where they sat with the sadness, right? So I just really think that's an important thing for our parents and our supportive adults to keep in mind, that we want to allow our students to experience those feelings. Of course, we don't want them to have them. We want them to be happy.
Sure.
It's life, right? And they're learning that right now. So we can just be there with them, which is that connection, as Jennifer was talking about, is huge. And then there's resources for support as well. So as a parent, if my child were maybe becoming escalated, really starting to spin in that emotion, and it didn't feel like enough for me just to sit there and be with them, there's a crisis text line, which I love. It's just 741-741, just those 6 digits. And you can text at any time, and they're very well-trained professionals to respond. And even a caregiver can reach out and ask for help on behalf of their students. So half the time, more than half the time, I should say 90% of the time, I don't know what statistic, but a lot of the time the parent will be enough. The supportive adult will be enough. But if they need resources, don't hesitate to reach out. And every school has assigned mental health therapists or school social workers in addition to the counselor. So students can access those through their counselors.
Excellent. Very, very, very insightful and great advice for everyone when it comes to struggling. I think a lot of us are used to working with students when it comes to academic struggling. But with those emotions, it's a whole nother story. And, relationships and connections and resources that really become or play a bigger role than in those scenarios. And those are there. We have those things. So very good. All right. So how can we support our seniors by celebrating and honoring this important moment in a different way.
Absolutely. So it's so important. You've said many times just the number of years they've gone through over the last, 13, honestly, years of their life. They have been working really hard towards this moment. And even though it'll be a different celebration, it is still very much a celebration. And so any cultural aspects we might want to take into consideration, any family traditions we want to take into consideration can be done here too. So for example, in my family, we celebrate different milestones by getting together for really long meals, right? Where lots of stories are told and laughter is shared. So even though I might not be able to gather members from outside of my household, we can still have that meal and maybe even virtually invite other people. And if people can't attend, they could send those stories that we might share at that meal through video recordings. I have seen online all the parades that have happened for baby showers or birthdays. So we could organize our family members and the important adults in our life to drive by, maybe take a minute in front of our house to share what we're proud of for that senior, what memory we have of them growing up, something that they've overcome that we really want to acknowledge, or words of inspiration. So all of those things can still be arranged in a socially distant manner because we do have technology at our fingertips, thankfully, and we do have the ability to be creative. So just considering what your family might do typically and how can we do that in a virtual or socially distant way.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, so today we've had Jennifer with us from our vice principal out at Laguna Creek High School. We've had Miss Nicole Brown with us. She's our district head counselor. And we also have Miss Katie Thomas, who's one of our best out there mental health therapists, joining us today, talking about the importance of connections and relationships. That this is absolutely not a normal time for seniors, given our traditions. Talking with Nicole with the grow and the growth mindset, etc., and also with Ms. Katie talking about all of the things that we can do to acknowledge what is happening, that there are resources, and that it sounds like listen and learn is one of the key things that we can all do. I kind of reflect back on that Arbinger training we've all had about the pyramid, and at the bottom, the most important thing is that relationship, building those relationships. And then if you even have a hard time building relationships, there's other people you can reach out to help build those relationships. And then we get to the listening and learning before we get into any kinds of adjustments that we make. So all great advice. Do any of you have any last things you'd like to tell people out there who are listening, who are talking to seniors and their families?
I'd really like to kind of give a direct message to our kiddos, if I could. And I think that I'm probably speaking for all people at sites when I'd like to say to their seniors right now. But what I'd like to say to them is that we're immensely proud of you. We do see how much you're missing, and your families too, and recognize that. We envisioned and we're excited for a very different ending to your year and spending it with you. We'd like to encourage you to be proud of your accomplishments, to be open to all the creative opportunities that are presenting themselves to you right now, and to finish strong. And then we want you to trust that we're working as hard as we can. Your counselors, your teachers, your administrators, your office support staff, your custodians, everyone is working to try to continue to give you as many special moments as we can, to recognize your accomplishments, and to offer as many traditional experiences as we can, and possibly in untraditional ways. And our teachers and counselors would not forgive me, our whole staff, our office staff, everyone, if I didn't tell you how desperately everyone misses you. You can do this. We'll get through this, and you are prepared for everything that comes with this and after this.
Awesome. Nicole?
Absolutely. I like that. You have everything. You are going to school before this happens. So you have what you need to succeed. And it's just up to you to look at this as an adventure. And in adventures, sometimes things don't go the way we want, but we're working toward a goal. So just remember to set your sights ahead for the future. Focus on your future because you have an awesome future ahead.
Awesome. Thank you. Katie, last words?
Needs to say anything after that. I think we are very proud of our seniors and we know that they can get through this, but we also know it's really hard and we are just right there with you from here.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank our ladies today for joining us with giving great words to our seniors and their families, and best of luck for our class of 2020.
Absolutely.
2020 strong.
That's right.
Congratulations.